guys, this week's lesson is going to be on simplifying and reducing fractions. Today I'm going to talk to you about what simplifying and reducing means, and then we're going to walk through some of the things I've already put on the board here, and then we're going to do a couple of practice problems towards the end, okay? So first, let's go over vocabulary. To simplify or reduce means to simply break the fraction down to its smallest or simplest forms, okay? So we're taking a fraction and we're trying to break it down to the smallest possible form that we can get it into. That's what simplifying means, and reducing. Sometimes you will hear simplify the fraction as your directions. Other times you may hear reduce your fraction for directions. So I'm just showing you both words. They mean the same thing, to break down to the simplest or smallest form, okay? So before we go through all of this, I want to go over the two main steps that we're going to use to simplify or reduce fractions. Step 1. It says find the greatest common factor, GCF, between the numerator and the denominator. So we're going to find the largest common factor, and sometimes you'll see it written as GCF, which is why I wrote it in parentheses, but it stands for greatest common factor. So review of vocabulary in that sentence. Factors. What are factors? Factors are two numbers that we multiply to get a product. So we're going to find the numbers that we multiply with our numerator and the denominator, and we're going to find the largest number that they have that is alike or the same. So that's step 1. Step 2, we're going to divide both the numerator and the denominator by the GCF. So after we do step 1 and we find the greatest common factor that we have alike, we're going to take that greatest common factor and we're going to divide both the numerator and the denominator of the fraction by that number. All right, so I had an example here. I've already written some things on the board just for time's sake, and I'm going to go through it, and then we'll do a couple of problems at the end. So the first fraction I had up here was 12/18, okay? So first step, we went through writing the factors of 12 and 18. And I like to use a factor rainbow, which is just connecting our factors by a rainbow. So we knew that the factors of 12 were 1 and 12, 2 and 6, 3 and 4. 18, our factors were 1 and 18, 2 and 9, 3 and 6. So we write our common factors out by the side. So we knew that our common factors, they both have a 1, they both have a 2, they both have a 3, and they both had a 6. So these are the common factors, the factors that they have that are alike. Now out of these common factors, we have to find the largest number they have. And since we put them in order because we use the factor rainbow, we can see that our greatest common factor was 6. So we come back to our original fraction, and we're going to divide it by our GCF, which was 6. So 12 divided by 6. So I come to 12, I look that 6 connects to the 2, so 12 divided by 6 equals 2. 18 divided by 6, if I use my rainbow, I would come to 6, and it would take me back to 3. So 8 divided by 6 equals 3, which means that 2/3 is the simplest or smallest form of 12/18. It's also an equivalent fraction. We learned that last week. Okay, so our second example was 8/12. Well, we already did 12, which is why I put that here. So we already had our factors for 12, which were 1 and 12, 2 and 6, 3 and 4. And our factors of 8 were 1 and 8, 2 and 4. The common factors they had were 1, 2, and 4. And the largest number between 1, 2, and 4 was 4. So our GCF equals 4. So we take 4 and we divide 8/12 by 4. 8 divided by 4, we come to 4 is 2. 12 divided by 4, we come to 12 divided by 4, which takes us to 3. So 2/3, again, is the simplest form of 8/12. Now, I wrote these problems here because this is kind of a rule of thumb, something that we can remember and do really quickly when we're trying to simplify fractions. Any fraction that has a numerator that is half of the denominator, we already know that the simplest form is a half. So here we had 15/30. I know that 15, when I double it up, is half of 30. So therefore, 15/30 is reduced to a half. Another example was 3/6. I know that if I double 3, 3 plus 3, it gives me 6. So that means 3/6 is equivalent or simplified to 1/2. 12/24 is equivalent or simplified to 1/2. If I were to say 50/100, 1/2, because 50 is half of 100. So any fraction that the numerator is half of the denominator, your reduced or simplified fraction is 1/2. We have time to do a fraction together. So we're going to do 16/20. Okay? 16/20. So our first step, as we went through all of these examples together, is to do our greatest common factor. Find the greatest common factor between our numerator and our denominator. So I'm going to write 16. And my factors for 16, I always go from least to greatest so I can go in order. So I have 1 times 16. Draw my rainbow to connect those factors. 2 times 8. Does 3 times anything give me 16? No. 4 times 4. And sometimes people don't put the both fours, but I like to put it just so we can show that 4 times 4 equals 16, okay? Let's do 20. So I have 1 times 20. I'm going to draw my rainbow to connect those. I have 2 times 10. 3 times anything? No. 4 times 5. 4, and I have 5, so that means I'm done. So my factors of 16 are 1, 2, 4, 8, and 16. My factors of 20, 1, 2, 4, 5, 10, 20. Now I'm going to write my like or common factors that they have in common. So they both have a 1. They both have 2s. They both have 4s. And that's about it. All the other numbers are not the same. So these are my common factors. 1, 2, and 4. Between 1, 2, and 4, what is the largest number? Our greatest common factor is 4. So our GCF is equal to 4. Now comes step 2. I take my GCF and I divide my numerator and denominator by the GCF. So 16 divided by 4 and 20 divided by 4. So 16 divided by 4, I will come to the 4 and see what rainbow goes with 4, and it takes us back to 4. So 16 divided by 4 equals 4, and 20 divided by 4, my rainbow takes me to 5. So 20 divided by 4 equals 5. So my 16/20th fraction is simplified or reduced to 4/5. Okay? So this week you're going to be working on simplifying and reducing fractions. I have already uploaded those assignments on your IXL account, which I will send out an email again with your username and passwords. You can do this on a computer, you can do this on a cell phone or desktop or laptop, Chromebook, whatever technology you have. IXL is available on all platforms. So this will be in your IXL account for you to practice on this week. If you have any questions or concerns, just want to tell Ms. Rumley, hey, because you missed me, you can always shoot me an email, a text, or phone call me. Give me a phone call. All right, talk to you later, guys, later. Love you.